Yeah, are you listening? Yeah, sorry for the inconvenience. Uh, so what we are discussing about? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. Uh, so this is my input signal that is equal to x of t. This is my h of t that is equal to which is starting from t is equal to 0. Now I have to perform the convolution of this signal with this signal. So what is I have to do? We have to look at the expression. Our expression is saying that is equal to x of tau h of t minus tau d tau. Assume that t is equal to 0. If t is equal to 0, then this expression will become equal to integration minus infinite to infinite x of tau into h of minus tau t tau. I hope it is clear to you. So what is this h of minus tau? This h of minus tau is representing this signal that is equal to h of t as a variable tau. So that means if I will representing it in the form of tau, then how much it will be? That means I have to represent x of t in terms of x of tau. I have to represent h of t in terms of h of tau. So now what is x of tau? X of tau is nothing but the same signal. That means I will get this is equal to same signal, right? So now this is equal to tau is equal to 0. So this variable is equal to tau. Now this will become equal to x of tau. I hope it is clear to you. Now what is h of tau? H of tau means it is nothing but the signal will be represented. So this will be your variable tau, and this is equal to h of tau. But it is nothing but your h of minus tau. Are you getting my point? So that means what will be h of minus tau? H of minus tau is nothing but I can represent this is equal to minus tau means it is folded. This is equal to h of minus tau. This is tau is equal to 0. This is equal to tau. Are you getting my point? So this is a folded version of the signal. Try to understand this concept. Now look at this expression x of tau h of t minus tau d tau. That means you are giving a different variable to t, right? So this is equal to t is equal to 0. This is the expression I am getting. So this is the thing. Now I have to multiply these two things. That means this one will be get multiplied with this. That's why it is representing here. Look at this expression. X of tau is get multiplied with h of minus tau. After multiplication, there is an integration. What this integration is representing? That is nothing but the summation of all the multiplications, right? So now this is happening for t is equal to 0. Suppose I will take t is equal to 1. Then how much this expression? This expression will become equal to minus infinite to infinite x of tau into h of 1 minus tau into d tau. Am I right? So what does it mean? That means this x of tau is there, h of 1 minus tau. 1 minus tau, what does it mean? It means that this is equal to tau is equal to 0. This is your tau. Now 1 minus tau, that means this will be shifted to unit 1 location towards right. Right? So this is equal to h of 1 minus tau d tau. Right? So now this will be get multiplied with this. Are you getting my point? So this will give rise to, after multiplication, perform the summation, you will get this expression. Are you getting my point? If t is equal to 2, what will happen? If t is equal to 2, this will become equal to x of tau into h of 2 minus tau d tau. What is basically this 2 represent? This 2 represent that is equal to this h of is shifted towards right by 2 unit. So this is equal to 0, this is 1, this is equal to 2, this is equal to h of 2 minus tau. Right? So now this will be get multiplied with this and summation. So now what are the silent points? The silent point is that the first point I can write here, the signal both x of t and h of t are converted to x of tau into h of tau. Right? The second point, h of any one signal, x of tau or h of tau is rotated by 180 degree. One signal is rotated Actually, rotated means I can say this is folded. In your book, you can see that it is folded. Folded means rotated by 180 degree. So in this case, we have rotated one h of tau. So h of tau is rotated to h of minus tau. That means it is folded. Once it's folded, then what we are doing? We are multiplying the overlapping regions. Multiplying the overlapping regions. So what is the overlapping regions? Overlapping regions between h of minus tau with x of tau, right? Then shift this h of minus tau. Shift, multiplying the overlapping regions and add, because integration is there na. So this and add. Then shift the h rotated signal or folded signal over unfolded signal and add, right? And this process will continue till there is no overlapping. So this process will continue till there is no overlapping, right? So this is called your convolution. Am I right? So what exactly your convolution says? Your convolution says the signal which is given to us, that is equal to input x of t, impulse response that is equal to h of t, convert into x of tau and h of tau. Then one of the signal, either your input or your impulse response, is converted into x of tau, h of tau. Then one of the signal is get folded. The folded signal is gradually moved over the unfolded signal and multiply the overlapping regions and add them. So this process will continue till there will be no overlapping. Now I will just show one example. I will not do any mathematics. I will just simply show the one example to you how exactly it is happening. Now look at this slide. So I hope it is visible to all of you. So now in this scene, I have to find the convolution of two continuous signals. In this case, two signals are given. One signal is your x of t, another is your h of t. I have to perform the convolution of these two signals. What exactly is happening? So that means the first step is that convert both the signals x of t as well as h of t in terms of your x of tau and h of tau. So first it is converted. I hope it is clear to all of you. Then one of the signal is get rotated or folded. So which signal I have to fold? I can fold x of tau. I can fold also h of tau. In this case, I have folded h of tau. The reason behind is that the signal having lesser duration. So if you look at your x of tau is extending from 0 to 2. And h of tau is extending from 0 to 1. That means the width of h of tau is 1 unit. The width of x of tau is 2 unit. So that means the signal which is having lesser width is get folded. So in this case, h of tau is a lesser width, that is 0 to 1 unit only. So that means it is get folded. Once it is folded, we have to perform the shifting of this folded signal over the unfolded signal. Now look at here how the shifting is occurring. So look, if this h of tau that is equal to h of minus tau, I will shift towards the left. There will be no overlapping. Can you able to see? There will be no overlapping. As there is no overlapping, when we will multiply, this will give rise to 0. Now, if I will shift the signal gradually over this x of tau, now see, look at here, this is nothing but h of t minus tau. This will give rise to some overlapping of x of tau with h of t minus tau. If it is complete, so this is called your partial overlapping condition. Then this is called your complete overlapping condition. That means when this h of tau is moving inside this x of tau, there will be a complete overlapping occurs, right? And this complete overlapping will occur till 2. When the signal x of t minus tau is or x of minus tau crosses this 2, then there will be a partial overlapping. Again, this if you again shift, again there will be no overlapping. Are you getting my point? So each stage you have to see how much signal is get overlapped and that is get multiplied and add up. Anybody has any doubt, please tell me. Yes, any questions from you, please. So this is called your overlapping, and this shifting operation will occur till there will be no overlapping. So look at here, there will be no overlapping and this convolution is stopped, right? Now we'll take one example with respect to a discrete signal. I will just show one example with respect to a discrete signal. Then you can understand what exactly is happening. In case of a discrete signal, your input will be represented by x of n. Right? This is called your system. This will be represented by h of n. This is your output, that is equal to impulse response y of n. So what is this? So I can write this is equal to nothing but your x of n convolution with h of n. So now this can be represented as how much? So that is equal to summation m is equal to minus infinite to infinite x of n into h of n minus n. So now what exactly I have done here? I have first convert this signal x of n and h of n into the variables that is equal to xn as well as h of n. Then I have rotated or folded one signal. So I have folded that is equal to h of n. So I will get h of minus n. Then I will shift this folded signal over the unfolded signal and multiply the overlapping regions and add them. Now I will take one example with respect to this. Suppose I have this x of n is something like this. So this is n, this is the variable that is equal to n. So I can say this is equal to 0. Suppose at 0 it has a magnitude that is equal to 1. Suppose at 1 it has a magnitude that is equal to 2. Right? At that is equal to 2, it has a magnitude of minus 1. At 3, it has a magnitude of 1. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3. So this is my x of n. Try to understand very carefully. Now suppose I have another signal that is equal to h of n. So what is h of n? Suppose your h of n is equal to nothing but any signal I have taken that n is equal to 0, it has a magnitude 1. N is equal to 2, it has a magnitude that is equal to 2. And n is equal to 3, it has a magnitude is equal to again 1. So this is equal to 0, 1, 2. So this magnitude is equal to 1, this is equal to 2, this is equal to again 1. I hope it is clear to you. So this is your h of n. So this is equal to n. Now look at here, what exactly is happening?
Sir, how we got h of n, sir?
Pardon? Which one?
H of n, how we got, sir?
No. I have given this. I have taken one question in which your x of n is given to you, h of n is given to you.
Okay. Sir.
Right? So we have to calculate what is your y of n. That is the convolution of both two. This is the question. This will be given in your question paper or your examination. Right? So now we have to calculate the answer. So what we have to calculate? We have to calculate what is your y of n. So what is your y of n? That is equal to nothing but your x of n convolution with h of n. Clear? So now what is the first step? Your first step is that you have to make your x of n in terms of your x of n. So that means I'm just writing here, I'm not doing once again. So I'll just do it once again, it will be fine. I will make it to a variable of n. So that means at n is equal to 0, 1, this is 2, and this is equal to 3. So 0, it has a magnitude of 1. 1, it has a magnitude of 2. 2, it has a magnitude of minus 1. 3, it has a magnitude of 1. So this is your x of n. Now represent this h of n as h of n. So that is equal to the same thing we will get, that is equal to 1. At 2, it is equal to 2. Sorry, this is 0, this is 1, and 2, it is equal to 1. Right? So this is equal to h of m. So now what is the first step is over, that is equal to, you have to convert your x of m as well as h of m to a variable that is equal to h of m. This variable m. So now you have to rotate one signal or fold one signal. Which signal I have to fold? Basically the signal having lesser duration has to be folded. If we look at your h of m, this is having 3 samples. If we look at your x of m, this is having 4 samples. So now x of m has to be folded. So if I will fold this, so how much it will be? So this is equal to, n is equal to 0, this is equal to, so now this one will become equal to, at -1 it will become, this will become equal to at -2. I hope it is clear to you. So that means I have folded it. So that is equal to, this is your -n. Clear? Am I right? Then what you have to do? You have to multiply the overlapping regions. So now look at your formula. What is your formula? Your formula says yn is equal to convolution, that is equal to xn convolution with h of n. So that means I can write summation, how much the variable we have to take, that is equal to x of n into h of n minus m summation n is equal to 0 minus infinite to infinite. So now in this case n is equal to 0. If I will take n is equal to 0 in this case, so how much I will get? This expression will become equal to yn is equal to summation n is equal to minus infinite to infinite x of m into h of minus m. So now this is equal to h of minus m. Look at here. And what is this? This is equal to x of m. Now you have to multiply this. Now multiply this means, look at here. At m is equal to 0, it has the magnitude 1. At m is equal to 0, it has the magnitude 1. For m is equal to 1, it has a 0. So that means this region is get multiplied with these regions, and this will give rise to 0. This region, so it get multiplied with this region of your, so this will give rise to 0. So that means you will get only the multiplication to be how much? Am I right or not? Please tell me. Anybody has any doubt? So that means m is equal to 0, it has a magnitude 1. M is equal to 0, it has a magnitude 1. But for other part of m, these regions, it has a magnitude 0. For this region, magnitude some value is there. So 0 into something 0. So this region, some value is there. This region, there is no value is existing. So this is equal to 0. So that means when we will multiply x of m with h of minus m, I am getting this is equal to 1. Any doubt? Please tell me. No doubt. Okay. Now look at here. So now I will shift this. That means the rotated signal. So if I will shift the rotated signal by 1 unit, so that means n will become equal to 1. What will be the formula? Your formula will become equal to y of n summation n is equal to minus infinite to infinite x of m into h of 1 minus m. Am I right? So that means what is h of 1 minus m? This is h of minus m. So 1 minus m is nothing but this signal will be shifted 1 unit. So that means whatever is present at 0, that will go to 1. So whatever minus 1, it will come to 0. And whatever value is at minus 2, it will come to minus 1. So this is equal to 1. This is equal to 2. This is equal to 1. So this is 0 minus 1, that is equal to minus, sorry, this is equal to, this is 0. This will be minus 1 and this will be 1. I hope it is clear to you. So this will give rise to your h of 1 minus m. So now what you have to do? You have to multiply this x of m with h of 1 minus m. If we will multiply this, now look at here. So there are one signal. I'll just make it a little bit small in size so you can see. So now see, at 1 is equal to 1, it has a magnitude 1. At 1 is equal to, that is m is equal to 1, it has a magnitude 2. So that means this 1 is get multiplied with 2. So I can write that 1 is get multiplied with 2 plus at 0 it has a magnitude 2. At 0 it has a magnitude 1. So that is equal to 2 into 1 plus at minus 1 it has a magnitude 1. at minus 1 it has a magnitude 0, so that is equal to 1 into 0, plus at 2 it has a magnitude 0, it has a magnitude of minus 1, that is equal to 0 into minus 1, plus at that is equal to, this is equal to 2, this is equal to 3. At 3 it has a magnitude 0, but this has a magnitude 1, so that is equal to 0 into 1. So now what is the value which coming? So that is equal to 1 into 2, that is equal to 2 plus 2, so that is equal to 4. So that is equal to, this is nothing but here giving rise to 4. So n is equal to 1. So if I will take n is equal to 2, what will be the value? N is equal to 2. Now this expression will become equal to y of n, that is equal to summation n is equal to minus infinite to infinite x of m into h of 2 minus m. So that means this signal is shifted 2 unit. So as I am shifting this signal by 2 unit, so this is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, this side is equal to minus 1, minus 2, like this. So that means whatever this value at 1, so this will come to 2. So this is equal to, next is your 2, next is equal to 1. Right? So this is equal to h of 2 minus m. So now this h of 2 minus m is get multiplied with x of m. So now if we'll multiply this, just to make it a little bit small. So now when I'll just look at this expression and this expression, you have to multiply with this. So that means at m is equal to 2, it has a magnitude 1. At m is equal to 2, it has a magnitude of minus 1. So that means 1 with minus 1. I'll just write it here. What is the value of xm? Xm at m is equal to 2 is minus 1 into h of 2 minus 1 at m is equal to 2 is equal to plus 1. So that is equal to this. Then m is equal to 1. What is the magnitude? M is equal to 1. X of m is equal to 2. M is equal to 1. This magnitude is equal to 2. Am I right or not? Are you getting or not? Then m is equal to 0. It has a magnitude of 1. And this has a magnitude of 1. So 1 cross 1. Right? So now what is the value? So that is equal to, this is minus 1, this is plus 1, cancel. So this will give rise to your 4. Am I right? So now if n is equal to 3, what will happen? Your y of n will become equal to summation m is equal to minus infinite to infinite, that is equal to x of m into h of 3 minus m. So what does it mean? That means this signal is moving 3 units. So I can write this is your m. So that means whatever this is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means this will become equal to 1 now. At this value, it will become equal to 2 unit. This is equal to 1. So now this will be get multiplied with your x of m. Are you getting my point? Or anybody has any doubt? So it will be multiplied means how much it will be? X of m. That means it is starting from 2. Just look at here. At 2, what is the value? At 2, it is minus 1. Right? So minus 1 into 2. So that is equal to, I can write, this is equal to minus 1 into 2 plus. At 3, it has a 1 and 1. So that is equal to 1 into 1. So that is minus 2 plus 1. So this will be equal to minus 1. Right? Again, you shift it. If n is equal to 4, so y of n is equal to nothing but summation m is equal to minus infinite to infinite x of m into h of 4 minus m. So that means this signal will shifted 4 units from, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means this will become equal to 1, this will be 2 unit, this will be 1 unit. So this is equal to h of 4 minus m. So if it is h of 4 minus m, now multiply the overlapping regions. Again, I am just reducing the size. So that means 2, this is equal to 1 unit, and 2, it is 1 unit. So other part will become equal to 0. So this will is equal to 1 into 1. That is equal to simply 1. So now if n is equal to 5, so how much it will be? That is equal to y of n is equal to summation m is equal to minus infinite to infinite x of m into h of 5 minus m. So what is h of 5 minus m? So that is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that means your signal will start from here. So this is equal to 1 unit, and this it will be equal to 2 unit, and this is equal to 1 unit. So this is equal to h of 5 minus m. So now if I will multiply this one with x of m, so how much I will be? You just see x of m is starting from 0, 1, 2, 3. It is starting from 3, 4, 5. That means none of the impulses or none of the samples of h of 5 minus m is get overlapping with x of m. Are you getting my point? So what is this value? This will become equal to 0. So how much we get? So we got that. So just a minute. So for n is equal to 0, we got n is equal to, or I can say n is equal to 0, we got y of n is equal to y of 0. That is equal to how much we got? In this n is equal to 0, this is giving rise to 1. So n is equal to 0. N or m? N is equal to 0, we are getting is equal to 1. For y of n is equal to 2, we are getting that is equal to how much? That is equal to 2 plus 2, that is equal to 4. For n is equal to, n is equal to 1. N is equal to 1, it is 4. For n is equal to 2, it is coming to be, again, 1 cancels, 2 to 4. For n is equal to 3, we will get that is y of 3, that is equal to minus 1. For n is equal to 4, we will get that is y of 4, that is equal to how much we got? In this case also 1. For n is equal to 5, we will get y of 5, that is equal to how much? That is equal to 0. That is equal to 0. So this is called your convolution output. So what is your convolution output? Now we'll plot it. If we'll plot it, so how much? So this is your y of n. So this is your n variable. So now this is equal to n is equal to 0, n is equal to 1, n is equal to 2, n is equal to 3, n is equal to 4, n is equal to 5. So y of 0, so this is giving rise to 0. Y of 1, it is giving rise to 4, right? Y of 2, it is also giving rise to 4. So this is 4. Y of 3, it is giving rise to minus 1. Y of 4, it is giving rise to plus 1. Y of 5, it is 0. So this is called your convolution output, that is equal to y of n in discrete domain. Anybody has any doubt, please tell me. I'll just discuss this thing once again. Yes, any questions? So this is all about your convolution in discrete domain as well as in case of your continuous domain. So in case of your continuous domain, we are performing the integration, and in case of your discrete domain, we have to perform the work of your summation. Anybody, any doubt? Please tell me. Any questions from anyone else, or have you understood it? So next class we'll just discuss only 1-2 problems or numericals. Will not. This is called your convolution. As well as we will also discuss some properties. Yes. No questions?
No, sir.
No questions. Okay, very fine. So what basically the convolution is giving? The convolution is giving the system response. What is system response? That means how the system is behaving towards the input, right? That is represented by this convolution. So convolution is giving the response of a system. If your input is a unit step, it will give rise to unity step response. If your system, input to the system is a unity impulse, it will give rise to a unity impulse response. Now we'll see some of the properties of this convolution. Before coming to your this problem, this discussion of this problem, I'll just want to tell some properties. What are the properties of a convolution? Just look at this slide. I hope it is visible to you. The first property of your convolution says it is commutative in nature. What do you mean by commutative in nature? That means x of t convolution with h of t will give rise to your h of t convolution with xt. This is also applicable for your discrete domain, the same thing. Associative with property. That means xt convolution with h1t convolution with h2t, where h1t and h2t are represented inside the bracket, that will be represented as xt convolution with h1t convolution with h2t, right? So this is called your associative with property. Next is called your distributive property. What is distributive property? That is xt convolution with h1t plus xt convolution with h2t, right? This is called your distributivity property. Next is your derivative property. What is derivative property? D by dt convolution with xt with ht, that is equal to derivative with respect to xt convolution with ht, or we can write xt convolution with a derivative with respect to ht, right? Similarly, this derivative property can also be the similar way can be represented for the integration also. Integration from minus infinite to t x of lambda convolution with h of lambda d lambda will give rise to minus infinite to t x lambda d lambda convolution with ht is equal to same as xt convolution with integration minus infinite to t h of lambda d lambda. So these are some of the properties of your convolutions. So you can these are some of the things you have to remember, right? Already I have discussed about the process, need not to explain this process once again. So these are called, these 5 steps are called the steps to be followed during the computation of convolution. Whether it's a discrete signal or a continuous signal, you have to follow it. So the processes are meant for the discrete signal. Write the signal as a function of tau if it is continuous, that is x of tau, h of tau. Then fold one signal, that is folding and finding the edges. Then shift the folded signal and multiply the overlapping regions, that is shifting and multiplication. Then after that you are performing the integration. Integration is nothing but the sum of product. Then after that you have to assemble the different sections that will give rise to your convolution output in case of your continuous domain. Anybody has any doubt, please tell me, right? So now we'll solve this problem, or we'll solve in the next class this problem. Just there is something important thing I have to discuss here. So what are the things I have told? Just in a nutshell, I just want to summarize. Whenever we are finding the convolution in case of 2 signals for a continuous domain, we have to look at that signal which is having lesser duration, because that lesser duration signal is folded. So in this case, there are 2 signals are given, x of t and h of t. First, both the signals are converted into x of tau and h of tau. Once they are converted into x of tau and h of tau, the signal which is having lesser duration, that is equal to h of tau, each get folded. As it is folded, it will look like this. That means one edge will be lie at on your y-axis, another edge will be at -1. These are called 2 edges. So this is called your determination of the edges. If I will shift this folded signal to any arbitrary location, suppose I will shift into t. I don't know, t may be positive, t may be negative, t may be 0, anything it can happen. So if this location or this right hand edge is at t, then where it will be the left hand edge? The left hand edge will be at t-1. Why it will be at t-1? Because the width of the signal is equal to 1 unit. As the width of the signal is equal to 1 unit, so this will be, as this edge is t, this will become equal to t-1. Right? I hope it is clear to you. Now, what we have to do, we have to find the region of overlapping in case of your continuous signals, and this region of overlapping we have to find and multiply the overlapping regions. Just look at here. So in this case, this is x of tau, this is h of t minus tau. So in this case, there is no overlapping occurs. So as there is no overlapping, so there will be the multiplication output is equal to 0. In this region 2, this is x of tau, this is h of t minus tau. So now what will happen? There will be a partial overlapping will occur between your x of tau and h of t minus tau. As you are moving the signal, the rotated signal or folded signal over the unfolded signal, sometimes at certain point of time it will give rise to your complete overlapping, and the complete overlapping will give rise to your maximum value, right? So this will be the output you'll get in this case in region R3. Then what is your region R4? Region R4, again this will that means the folded signal will cross your extreme edge of your x of tau, that is equal to 2. Again there will be a partial overlapping, right? Again when this signal will cross this extreme edge of 2, then there will be no overlapping, or that will be zero overlapping. So these are called your different regions of overlap. So what are the regions? One region is called your t is less than 0. Another region I can say this is called your partial overlapping, where t minus 1 is less than equal to 0 and t is that is equal to less than equal to 1. So this will be, if we will simplify this, t will become equal to 0 to 1. So this is called your region 2, where there is a partial overlapping will occur. In complete overlapping, t minus 1 is greater than 0, right? And t is less than equal to 2. So if you will simplify this, you will get equal to 1 is less than t is less than equal to 2. So this is called your complete overlapping region. Then your R4 will be that is equal to t minus 1 is less than equal to 2 and t is greater than 2. So that means this is again a partial overlapping. So if you will simplify this, then it will give rise to your 2 is less than t is less than equal to 3. Then R5, that means your t minus 1 is greater than equal to greater than 2. So t will be greater than equal to 3. So these are called your different regions. So you have to again find the sum of product. What is the sum of product? In this case, this is the integration. That is equal to y of t is equal to minus infinite to infinite x of tau h of t minus tau d tau. So when there is no overlapping, that means when t is less than 0, there will be no overlapping. If you perform the integration, it will give rise to 0. Now in this case, in the second case, region 2, so that means 0 to 1. So what will happen? Yt is equal to integration x of tau h of t minus tau integration minus infinite to infinite d tau. So now in this case, this limit will be from 0 to tau, right? Are you getting my point? Or 0 to t. So that means during this region there is only overlapping will occurring. So that is 0 to t. If we will perform the integration, it will give rise to 60. That means this is a linearly increasing signal with respect to time. That means it is linear, no intercept is present. So now during this region, that is equal to R3, that is 1 is less than t is less than equal to 2, there will be complete overlapping. If this edge is called your t, this region will become equal to t minus 1. Yes. Yes, sir.
Madam, must course plan for this subject.
Already I have given to Mahalakshmi.
Course plan.
Huh? Mahalakshmi already 2-3 days back I have given.
Okay.
You just yeah. So in case of complete overlapping, as this edge is equal to t, this will be equal to t minus 1. So in this case, your integration will be from t minus 1 to t. So this will give rise to a constant value that is equal to 6. Now in case of your region 4, there is again a partial overlapping. That means in this case, your how much it will be? Integration will be t minus 1 to 2. So t minus 1 to 2 x of tau h of t minus tau. In this case, if we perform the integration, this will give rise to minus 60 plus 18. So that means there is a y-intercept is associated with it. So that means this negative slope we are getting, that is equal to minus 6. So as it is a negative slope, and so this is a non-linear, so and the intercept is present. So this is a non-linear representations. So now if it is again crosses your 2, so there will be no overlapping is equal to 0. Then after that, what we have to do? We have to assembly all the sections. So that means at this region we are getting 0. For region 2 we are getting 60, which is a linearly increasing with respect to time. At region 3 it is constant. At region 4 it is a having a equation of a straight line having a negative slope, that is equal to minus 60 plus 18. And region 3, when t is greater than 3, this will be equal to 0. So this gives rise to your convolution output in case of your continuous domain. I hope it is clear to all of you. Anybody has any doubt, please tell me. So this is called your convolution. Yes. So this is called your linear time invariant system response, LTI system. Yes, anybody want to ask? Please ask me.
Sir, this is how they plot graph for MOSFET and all, sir. The delay time and all.
No. I am not talking about MOSFET now. That is a different thing. Here
Yes,
we
sir,
are.
but it will be like this only, no, sir. Graph.
Yeah, here I am talking about the convolution, that is the response of a system for a particular input. That means
Yes.
when we are talking about the response of a system, basically we are calculating how the system behaves, or what is the system output for a particular input. So if your input given to the system is xt, and the system response is that is equal to system is ht, then if you are performing the convolution, this is the output of the system, right? So that is a different thing. You are doing that characteristic equation. I am not worried about that. So this is the output, how it will come out. Yes.
MOSFET could be the system, no, sir. There.
Yeah. MOSFET can be system there. I am not telling. I am not denying that. But this is called convolution,
Yes,
right?
sir. Understood.
You understand my point? This is called convolution. Here I have given two square waves. That means this is also a square wave, or this is a rectangular wave having from 0 to 2. That is x of tau, and h of tau is a another square. I can say rectangular wave which is varying from 0 to 1. Right? If you are performing the convolution of the two rectangular waves, we are getting a trapezoid. If you are performing the convolution of a two triangular wave, we may be getting something different. We'll just discuss some. I'll give some question to you. You just have to think of and tell. Right? Anybody has any doubt or anything? Please ask me. Yes. So next class we'll just discuss some more 2-3 problems. So this finishes all about your convolution. Very important thing, convolution. As far as you are electronics engineer, that means you are concerning, and that you are studying signals and system, right? So this is very important. You have to learn these things very carefully. In case of your that means Laplace transform, we are using convolution. In case of Fourier transform, we are using convolution. In case of your communication systems, also you are using convolution. So you have to be very careful and try to understand what exactly your convolution is giving. I hope it is clear to all of you. Even if it is not also clear, in next class I will just discuss another one numerical or two numericals to make you more that means understand about this concept, right? Anything you want to ask, please ask me. Bhumesh Prajapat?
Yes, sir, no doubts.
No doubt. Harshini?
No, sir.
Deepa, Devantraj, Devan Kumar, Yashwant, Harishankari, Kopera, Dhanush Kumar, Likita, Jaswant, Yashwant M, Madhusudan, Mahesh, Hemasai, Yashwant Kumar, N. Bamsi, Pavitra, Prasad K, Praveen Kumaran, Mahidhar, Resma Devi, Sahil Bansal, Sanchit, Sanjay Reddy, Satish Maram, Sheikh Farid, Sheikh Sanjida, Siddharth, Srinidhi, Bhadyasri, Tawqif, Venkat Sai Teja, Dharma Asrit, Badi Bajai ji, Barsa Sahaji, Hari Sai Charana, Binod, Winston, Karai Pavan, Adrita, Ahmad Pas, Jubin Thomas, Priyadarshika. Okay, then fine. We'll stop it here. Right, as you are taking the class continuously. So before 10 minutes, we'll allow you to go. So next class, maybe in day after tomorrow, I'll just discuss another 2-3 numericals related to this convolution. Okay, thank you, well. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Kalai Pavan. He always gets your name wrong. Last time we called Kapli Pawan. What, you're switching on camera? But that snap camera thing is coming.
Arey, now it's lunch or class?
Don't know, Daddy.